Russia, I wanted to share with you um, some of the things that I found in my daily reading. My daily reading, we read right now. We've been reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, so we read a couple hours a day from CC. But it's so many different moods. Now, Lord Chaitanya, I was thinking of us because Lord Chaitanya went to South India and he traveled all over, and he just returned back. When he came back, he sent a message to the devotees, and the devotees at Navadvip, they began to come to Jagannath Puri. As they were coming, it was just so, it became so ecstatic as you would see who was coming and the mood that they came in. And then you got so many sidebars, and then other stories that King Pataparuja is trying to get an audience with Lord Chaitanya, who's completely not into it. He's the king. I'm not doing it. That's it. And so, I forget it took Pataparuja up to like a hilltop so he could see the devotees coming from Navadvip. And King Pataparuja wanted to know, who is that? Who is that? And so you're getting the description of Lord Chaitanya's associates. But we've moved on from there, and we're really at the cleansing of the Gandicha. They just beginning to start. Lord Chaitanya's passing out brooms and things like that. But I want to give you just a little bit of the sweetness of what's happening. The devotees come and they engage in kirtan. And the Sankirtan movement is what it's all about. And these devotees are so absorbed. It's true that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there, but they're absorbed in what? They're absorbed in the holy name, you know? And in the CC, you get to see what happens when there's absorption and the taking shelter of the holy name. So many problems that we see in life, they become gone. I just read a little bit something so you can see what's happening. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhaktinda. While Kirtan, with this, I am in Madhya 11.222. I just randomly took it. While Kirtan was going on, there was a transformation of ecstatic love and much tears, jubilation, trembling, perspiration, and deep resounding in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Upon seeing this transformation, all the people present became very much astonished. The tears from the eyes of the Lord came out with great force, like water from a syringe. Indeed, all the people who surrounded him were moistened by his tears. After circumambulating the temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for some time remained at the rear of the temple, Puri, and continued his Sankirtan. On all four sides, the four Sankirtan groups chanted very loudly, and in the middle, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, jumping high. After dancing for a long time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became still and ordered four great personalities to begin to dance. And one group, Nityananda Prabhu, began to dance, and then another group, Advaita Acharya, began to dance. Prakeshwar Pandit began to dance in another group, and then yet another group, Srivas Thakur, began to dance. While this dancing was going on, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu watched them and performed a miracle. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood in the middle of the dancers, and all the dancers in all directions perceived that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was looking at them. Wanting to see the dancing of the four great personalities, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited this miracle of seeing everyone simultaneously. Everyone who saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that he was performing a miracle, but they did not know how it was that he could see all four sides. In his own pastimes in Vrindavan, when Krishna used to eat on the bank of the Jamuna and sit in the center of his friends, every one of the cowherd boys would perceive that Krishna was looking at him. In the same way, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu observed the dancing, everyone saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was facing him. When someone came nearby while dancing, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would tightly embrace him. Upon seeing the great dancing, great love, and great Sankirtan, all the people of Jagannath Puri floated in an ecstatic ocean of love. I will have to stop myself. Hearing the greatness of the Sankirtan, King Pataparuja went up to the top of his palace and watched the performance with his personal associates. The king was very much astonished to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's kirtan, and the king's anxiety to meet him increased unlimitedly. I'm stopping soon. After the Sankirtan ended, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu watched the offering of flowers to Lord Jagannath deity. Then he and all the Vaishnavas returned to his residence. The sweetness of chanting the holy name purely, without offense, it brings us into an atmosphere of such sweetness, such absorption. And why did I read this? And in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you see how the devotees react. They're hungry to hear the holy name. They're hungry to take the association of one another. They see one another and they embrace them tightly. And the whole atmosphere is just so intoxicated. That is what Srila Prabhupada has brought to the Western world. This is what's being offered to us. Sure, we have problems. Sure, we're not there. But this is what every time I read these sections in CC, I think this is what's being offered to us. This is the sweetness. And it's only Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So I thought that I had to share some of that because it keeps me going. I'm so drunk half the time because Lord Chaitanya is so important to us. Because if we want to really take advantage and make this chanting of Hare Krishna work for us, then we may require help. And that help really is going to come from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly, indirectly by his representatives. It's going to come like that. But ultimately, remember, Krishna's plan was Sarva Dharma Prityaja, abandon all varieties of Dharma, just surrender unto me, I shall protect you, do not fear. Lord Chaitanya's plan, who's still Krishna, but he's Krishna in a much more magnanimous way. He's Krishna just in all sweetness, and he's attracted to that Krishna. He's attracted to Krishna in a different form. Lord Chaitanya is just attracted to Krishna as in a mood of Srimati Radharani. So you know how much Radharani is attracted to Krishna. So that's the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But the sweetness that comes for us by taking shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and taking shelter of his representatives and seeing that we are a part of this Sankirtan movement, it's just unbelievable. So we're going to move on, but it's just so nice. And I just had to share it. Okay, family, let's get moving. Mother?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, basis is mother. So I think the section we're at, it's not going to be much for me to say. It's explaining the holy name. You see where we're at?
Introduction to the meaning of the holy name.
Yes. And it's It's clear, but it needs a really deep understanding to go deeper. It needs a depth that I don't have, except for what is being explained. And it's going to get a further elaboration later on. Um, Let me pull it up. We were chanting with the right perspective, and now introduction to the holy name. Okay, let's go, Mother.
Introduction to the meaning of the holy name. One of these spiritual giants, Sri Gopal Guru Goswami, has revealed to us the meaning of the holy name. By chanting the name Hari, all sins are harati, destroyed, just as fire burns even when one touches it accidentally. So if a person accidentally chants the name of Hari, then all his sins are burned up. This name reveals the Lord's real form with all his bliss and knowledge, and thus destroys ignorance and its effects. This is the meaning of the word Hari. Or the word Hari can mean he who takes away, Harati, the three miseries of material existence from all living entities. Or Hari can mean he who attracts, Harati, the minds of all living entities when they hear about his transcendental qualities from a guru. Or Hari can mean he who attracts the minds of all avatars and all people by his sweetness and beauty, which is greater than that of millions of cupids. The word Hari becomes Hare in the vocative case, the form of address. Or according to the Brahma Samhita, the person who attracts the Lord's mind by her ideal love, Radha, is called Hara. In the vocative case, Hara becomes Hare. According to the Agamas, the root Krish means to attract, and the suffix Na means ultimate bliss. Together, these two roots form the word Krishna, which means the person who attracts, being the personification of ultimate bliss. Krishna is the supreme Brahman, the supreme Lord. The word Krishna maintains the same form when used in the vocative case. The Agamas further state that by uttering the syllable Ra, all sins are driven away. In order to prevent them from returning, the syllable Ma is added, as if closing the door. Also, in the Puranas, it is stated that the person who enjoys with Radha eternally is called Rama. This refers to Krishna. Unspecified Purana by Gopal Guru Goswami, as quoted in Sri Chaitanya Shikshamrita, 6th rainfall, 3rd shower.
As I said, the explanation is given here. I can't take it any further. It's an explanation of the name of Krishna, Hari, and Krishna, and Rama, and there's nothing I can say. It's given. There's some nice things. The effect of what happens when chanting the holy name is there. And I love it. It says, by chanting the name Hari, all the sins of Harati, sins are destroyed. Just as the fire burns when one touches it accidentally. It's interesting because in chanting Hare Krishna, we know that we have to gain Krishna's favor. In other words, we can't chant offensively, continue to be offensive in our chanting and expect to taste the holy name. But there was an explanation here. If one accidentally, accidentally, we can chant the holy name, we can be chanting our rounds and have a need to take shelter of Krishna. And we could just think of Krishna and chant Hare Krishna, not being pure, not being elevated, Krishna, and think about Krishna and really call out to Krishna. And we can do that and attract Krishna. By accident, we can relax our own self interest for a while, just needing Krishna, and we can get special mercy. It is my belief that and understanding that in the beginning, when we're chanting, first, our sinful reactions every time we chant the holy name, they go away. And because we want to know, that sincere inquiry is there. Because we're trying, we call Krishna. And in the beginning, there's such a high taste. It's not that we qualified, that we deserved it, but it's easier for us. Once we get that taste, he takes it back away, and we really have to work and purify our existence. You know, it's like when Krishna saw Narda, I think it was Narda, because I get both of the pastimes confused a little bit, but I'm sure it's Narda. When Muni's mother had died, says Narda cried when his mother died, and he headed north. And he went to go in the forest. He went to find Vishnu, and so he went, and he was looking, and he was undergoing different. I say he's crying, and in his meditation, in his endeavor, then the Lord appeared before him, but he told him, "You will not see me again this lifetime." And it changed everything. He was looking for Krishna, but he wouldn't see him again. There was no explanation to Maharaj Parikshit, but Maharaj Parikshit saw the Lord within the womb. The Lord came to protect him. And then he spent the rest of his life again, where is he? Like that. So this is always, when you hear causeless mercy or special mercy, special mercy. But the process is there to reunite us with Krishna, or our real self-interest is to be done with all these obstacles, all these distractions. That's all they are, And I was thinking of the point of the bodily conception of life. Bodily conception of life, it places us in ignorance because immediately we think, I'm my body, I'm my senses, I'm meant to be the enjoyer. All these things that we're thinking they have nothing to do with reality. So this is ignorance. And the holy name, or the guru, Om Agana Timarandasha, that light comes, and it really shows us who we are and what's to be done. And to the extent that we're attached to that we see things on a bodily conception of life, we're still in that ignorance is there. That's shown with Arjuna. So it is the ignorance that has to be dissipated, that has to be wiped out. When we come to the platform, at least goodness, so we can see a thing as it is. Anyway, there's just a few reflections. There wasn't much I could give in this section, but I find it very, very sweet. Any points? Like me. You feel the same way? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Drone.
Can you elaborate on the point about how in the beginning we experience some taste, but then that taste goes away? I've heard different devotees talk about it differently, that sometimes the taste is just pulled away, as you mentioned with the story of Narada Muni, how the Lord appeared in a special case to give enlightenment and hope to his devotee. And then I've heard devotees also speak about it in terms of that taste is there as special mercy, but due to our offenses, that it goes away. When we initially chant, we really don't have such a mindset. We have more of an appreciative mindset. Familiarity breeds contempt in such a way that through the longer that we're as time goes on, sometimes we develop an offensive mindset, and in that way the mercy is removed. Not that Krishna is simply just disappearing from us, but it's due to our offenses that it disappears.
Well, I feel that it's all of the above, because it's true when we come to Krishna consciousness, any sincerity that we can find within ourselves, if we can just remember that moment of trying to take shelter of Krishna and the holy name, trying to hear and reading, whatever it was, there was a yearning within us. We needed this. And we needed Krishna. We needed shelter. And that's why when Krishna says there's 4 types of pious men that surrender unto me, he gives a description. One who's in knowledge, one who's inquisitive. I need to know about this. One who's, just broke, needs money. And one who's just out and out bereft, These, although you see these different grades of men, they are taking shelter. They can take shelter of the bottom of a bottle of beer. They can take shelter of, some illicit activity to get some release from the pain of the material nature, those kleshas. But at that particular point, it's kind of like the plight of the living entity. At that point, we're looking for shelter, and we don't want the other shelters. We want Krishna. So we bump into him. I love the word we found here, accidentally. We bump into him. Even oftentimes we don't realize we want Krishna like that. But it happens. And what is the deeper situation? That we somehow have qualified for the good fortune of Guru and Krishna. By some good fortune, we're ready to receive it. And so when Krishna sees that, he sends Guru. And when Guru comes, and when we say, oh, my spiritual master, I didn't know who he was. Guru's representative usually comes before Guru. You ever meet Guru? That guy on the corner say, hey, excuse me, miss. Did you get it? Did you get one? Oh, this got your name on it. What is it? It's Bhagavad Gita. No, come. Touch that book, touch it, miss. It's over, And she says, Bhagavad Gita. You said, yeah, as it is. And so that's the first person that you came encountered with. But they gave you the book. That wasn't the person who gave you Diksha. But when you open that book and begin to read a few lines, actually you met your spiritual master. It's such, so little emphasis is put on the fact of how much Srila Prabhupada is our spiritual master. It's like, but when you got that book, you got your spiritual master. He's not your Diksha Guru, but he's Guru. So if you get any literature, you met your spiritual master. And there's a variety of spiritual masters, as is explained in CC, Diksha, Shiksha, Dharma Production. So it's, you have different gurus, but the point is, the teaching is taking place. So by taking to heart, how you get something that you didn't expect, and in the beginning, it's so refreshing. And you want to know, you start reading or you start chanting, I want to hear, I want to experience That is a form of submission. You're submitting yourself, to the holy name, to the instruction, to the you want to receive. You're open. And it's true, because of our ignorance, because of our bad association, because of our bad habits, then we can't maintain. But it's okay. We're in the process. We're filthy dirty. We're in the shower. We've got the water on. We're using soap. We're bound to become cleansed. It's just that so it's how it happens. It's hard to say, but we are offensive. Our lifestyle is not conducive. We are in a toxic environment. Just think about that. And in this toxic environment, we're trying to become Krishna conscious and serve the Supreme Lord. We're trying to be a part of Lord Chaitanya's movement and give Krishna to others. As soon as we say, we get our air back, okay, get this, you got to take this too. Oh my God, I got to give this to mom. I got to give this to mom, you got to get this. I give this to my friends. I'm going to go give this to other people. And the more you understand, the more you want to give. We just finished the marathon. Live to give, We want to give. If you hear the message, if you experience the taste, you have to give it away. So it's the process. And I'm sorry to go to keep elaborate, to go in a different direction, but it's not us. It's all costless mercy. It's just the way we receive it, And some of us, it's the opposite. When it first comes, I'm not interested. Go away. Not interested. Don't want it. I always like that. No. I'll get this for my brother. Not interested. But Krishna and his devotees are persistent. They're persistent. So we do become offensive, but we're in a bad age, bad environment, bad association. It's just so many things going against us, and still we find ourselves moving forward in Krishna consciousness. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishna, because of Nam Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's amazing. Krishna leaving his conversation of the Bhagavad Gita. He didn't just have to, he spoke with Arjuna, but he wanted that bewilderment to take place so he could speak. And then Arjuna just became so perplexed, so bewildered. I'm confused. Please, I'm at your feet. Please instruct me. So it's just what happened, and I don't know. Okay, I hope that helped a little bit. It's just.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thing I was thinking is the Damodar Leela, we have to keep on trying and not give up like Mother Yashoda did not give up. That is just one thing that sticks with me. I'm going to be like Mother Vrindavaneshwari today and lay it out there and let everybody, I have been very, very, very extremely slow in all these realizations. But the only good thing, and this is Krishna's mercy, is I stuck with it. And I'm trying to stick with it and just keep doing it. And I'm hoping that it, my not giving up will, shower Krishna's mercy on me. And it's, when you said we live in a toxic environment, we believe that this is real. I mean, for me, that realization is just now coming. Is, everybody will say, but, we're in this real world. We have to take care of all of these things. This is the unreal world. This is the unreal world. And it took me 30 plus years to realize that I've been hearing it, but only now it is still dawning on me. And so the knowledge that is there is so deep, so profound, so big, so huge, and we are so tiny. Our brains are so tiny, and it's going to take a lot of time. And all we can do is be like Mother Yashoda and say, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to let go. I'm just going to hold on to his lotus feet, and with the help of Guru's mercy, we'll get there.
It's so sweet, Mother. You know, the secret to success, you just said, I'm going to hold on to the lotus feet. We have nothing else. Everything else we think we have is illusory. Everything that we think we have to do, well, I'm just dealing with this. I remember every time I would focus on, responsibility of buildings and things like that, people always say what they got to do. When I would tell my friends I have to do something, they say, Hari, what's wrong with you? I said, what? He says, you're falling in Maya. I said, what are you talking about? You know, you always just depend on Krishna. I said, but I have to be responsible. They said, this is Maya. Krishna's always taking care of you. Just you have to depend. I mean, even the karmi friends would tell me that everything happens because you let Krishna do it. So what are you doing, man? You can't think like that. You losing faith or something? Oh my God. But that is the formula. And when you take the reality, fast forward, is 78 years old now. You know what's around the corner. At 78, I don't see, you can think, I don't see so well now. I don't move so well. The kids grew up, their kids grew up. I don't eat so much. I don't have that much taste. I don't want to do that many things. What's coming next? Now tell me how important the activities that we do here are to you in that frame of mind. They're not so important. You know that these things are coming to an end, and there has to be something different. Now, what's on the other side is more important to you. How did you prepare for the next part of the journey? And you can't take any of the fallible soldiers with you. Can't take the kids, can't take the dog, can't take the money. You can't take anything with you. It's just now it's going to come to the point. We need that type of sobriety in our lives at all points. And what gives you that sobriety is the association of devotees. The association of devotees is so powerful. Don't just say, oh, well, he's a high devotee. You want good association. But remember, when you met a bhakta or just anybody from the temple in the early days, you were so grateful for their association. And they see a Bhagavad Gita here, and you got to do like this from that. You could hear. So it's true. We become a little proud. But doesn't matter if we become a little proud because we're covered over. We're thinking we're the controller, the doer, the enjoyer. It's just the package that we get when we get this body. And the mind is just not our friend. So but I was thinking the other thing is that just as we hear the mind, and you've heard your mind, especially after it got you in a whole bunch of trouble. How often I am parked and feeling.
I heard from, can I say something?
Of
I
course.
heard from Sachinandan Swami. He said, we have to try to read the prayers, of the other acharyas, who has perfected themselves in chanting the holy name. There's so many different prayers we can just recite, like then this would keep us in the mood of chanting, and also remind us that we should not commit offenses. You know, it's very difficult not to commit offenses while chanting, but the only way we can get rid of all the offenses is by keep on chanting. We should not just give up. Keep on chanting. And Krishna is very kind, and he accepts our endeavor. We're trying. He knows our sincerity. So the bottom line is that you don't give up. Even some devotees said, "Okay, I'm not a good chanter. I can't chant anymore. I can't chant anymore because what's the use of chanting, because I'm not feeling anything." But the only way to get, to come to that level is just by keep on chanting and pray to the other Vaishnavas and recite different prayers. I remember one of the sessions, Sachinandan Swami was telling, he gave different prayers and different technique, how we can fix our mind on Krishna, you know.
Well, I love Sachinandana Swami. That's why we're reading his book. It's true, Mother. Those prayers are the ecstasies. As a young bhakta, I used to read the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and I would read them, and I start crying, and I couldn't understand. I said, something about him. I don't know. I said, I keep going back to read these prayers. I said, but something about him just touches me. And I remember Gopinath, and he would say, poor, no good qualities do I possess. Oh, Gopinath, this poor fool is weeping and weeping. And he just would touch me. I didn't know anything what was going on. But that is also, Mother, associated and taking shelter. Prabhupada said that just like in Prabhupada's books, his books, the purports of Prabhupada's ecstasies, that is actually what you get in those prayers, the glorification. They've composed, different prayers of glorification to the Supreme Lord. It's just not, as you know, they're not ordinary songs. They're ecstasies. It's amazing. So it's true. But I love the point you made. You just have to keep chanting. That's the only way. Once you offend the holy name, all you can do is keep chanting. You have to keep chanting and keep chanting. And Krishna sees the only thing we bring to the table is sincerity. That's all we bring. And that's another point, is that it would help if we see the bigger picture and see things from Krishna's perspective sometime. Krishna sees the little teeny efforts that we make to come towards him, the efforts we make to change, and he so appreciates it. Remember, we've been separated from him, meaning in this body, not turning to him for how long, for how many species of life. And so when he hears the sincere attempt to reestablish a relationship, come on, your mothers and fathers, just imagine, put yourself, Krishna wants you back. And, I never get over the fact that Rabindra Swarupa always tells me, each and every living entity has something particular that Krishna wants. Yeah, we know he wants our surrender, our love, but there's something each and every one of us has that's specifically there for Krishna, and he wants it. And so we have to take shelter of him. But back to another point about taking shelter of Krishna. Krishna is there within the heart. And for me, I forget, and Krishna reminds me in reading and so, that I'm there. And in the form of intelligence, he's there. So just like we hear our mind, and sometimes you get a sharp intuition, just like a laser, clears a bell. Where's that coming from? Where's it coming from? So the super soul can also be heard. We just haven't, developed the art of hearing them. Sachinanda Maharaj also speaks about that. Just like the point of hearing, we have to become so quiet that we begin to hear the direction of the Lord within the heart. And he comes in a form of intelligence, clear discrimination, wisdom, and it just goes amazing that Krishna begins to tell us what to do. We just have to want to hear. If we really want to hear from him, and we're called, he will tell us what to do. I give the understanding by which they can come to me, So Krishna will direct us. We're trying to do his service. And the real sweetness of it is the devotees. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, the devotees are so powerful. The devotees take shelter of devotees. It's all about the devotees. And there's nothing more attractive to Krishna than the devotees. Srimati Radharani is a devotee. It's Krishna. But that's the point. Krishna is purchased by devotees, their devotion. So we take shelter. We're Das Anudans. And the devotees bless us. And it makes it easier for us to chant the holy name. I don't know how we went so far on that today, but for me, it's very good. I'd like to hear more from you, but it's very, very nice because we're now becoming practical. Although the philosophy we're practical. What it was, how's it working for me? How can I apply it? How can I expedite the process? How can I stop committing offenses? So it's changing. Takshrinu. Hearing means acting. And when devotees hear and act, they talk about it. You're either going to talk for Japa or you're going to talk about the sweetness that you experience or the longing that you experience to have a better relationship. That's in the heart of the devotees. You can't get it from anywhere else. It only comes from devotees. Because devotees, Krishna's in their heart and they're in Krishna's heart. So devotees talk about Krishna. And that conversation, the resultant activity is we become enlightened. We become enlivened. I read, and now somebody understood and they shared. And it's such a powerful process. Anyway, come on, give me some more sweetness. Get us intoxicated. So I thank all of you for your contributions today. I thought I won't be able to do much with that, and I thought we were going to go on to avoid, the stumbling blocks. But the next part 2, is the keys of unlocking the secret of the holy name. After understanding in brief what happens as devotees approach the ocean of the holy name, it is of great benefit to hear future instructions on the secret science of developing love of Godhead by chanting. That's our next section. Somebody tell me what to do.
Well, Prabhu, we're past 9 o'clock. If there's nothing, if devotees don't have anything more to contribute, we can conclude here. We can always go on.
Good.
But
Good.
I want to
So
remind everybody also that today is Ekadasi, day for fasting from beans and grains, as well as a great day for giving some extra attention to our practice of chanting.
I so appreciate the association. It really helps me in spiritual life to talk about something that I feel as though I don't know how I'm going to get it. I know that I believe the mercy will come because Prabhupada said, but when we meet here, we talk about Krishna in this form of Nam Prabhu. And I'm with the devotees, and I feel so grateful. So let's have it. Panchakalpa, Tribhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Vyebhcha,
Patitanam
Pavanebbhyo,
Mahadevirao Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. We're all
Haryasha
grateful
Prabhu.
too, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Haryasha Prabhu. Just real quick, because the comment came up in here. Maybe you should just address it real quickly. We've done it before, but the comment being that beer is okay in moderation. In some social settings, beer is a must. We live in society, not a remote forest. I know it's a quick one.
Well,
You may just want to
okay.
because it was written in the chat.
Well, wine is okay too. A lot of people have wine with their meal. I mean, so that's okay too. And it's true. It depends on what your goal is in life. When I was a young man, I didn't like beer so much. Made me go to the bathroom, but I liked good wine. But the point is, what was the resultant activity? According to my spiritual master, an aspiring devotee doesn't indulge in those things. He doesn't take intoxicants. Why? Because, first of all, because the spiritual master said not to. Secondly, because he doesn't want to remain in ignorance. He doesn't want to create a forced paradise. He actually wants to deal with the reality. I'm not my body. I'm not my mind. I'm not these gross, blunt material senses. This is not the purpose of the human form of life. So if I accept that, now I may not accept that. And if I don't accept that, I can drink my beer, my wine, and my rum, whatever. But if I accept that this is the process, then I take it. You don't have to be in the forest. They may not have beer, okay? May not have beer in the forest. But in reality, we're in the forest of material enjoyment. And to the extent that we don't do things to bring us out of it, you have the freedom. Krishna never forced us. That's why we have that minute independence. We can do what the Shastras and the Sadhus say is the right thing, or we can do our own thing, which is pretty much a concoction of the mind. It's up to you. But we don't even take coffee and tea. We're not trying to stimulate ourselves. So this isn't a put down. This is a wake up call. If you want one result, you do this. If you want another result, you do that. Beer is in a list of untouchables. We don't take beer.
Can I add something to that, Prabhu?
Yes.
So I just wanted to share my own experiences. Before coming to this movement, I'd gone through different spiritual kind of, curiosities. But I do, in my 20s, did the whole party thing, whatever. But when I started to become more interested in spiritual life, I realized that beer and wine and alcohol blocked what little thread of connection I had to God. It blocked it. And I realized at that point, I was like, I don't want to take any chances. Like I had this tiny little thread that I'm like grasping on for dear life to, and this connection to God, and beer and alcohol blunts it. And in any given point in my life, I never wanted to have that risk that connection would be severed. And so from that point on, I made the decision to not drink alcohol. And it was very, to me, it was so obvious. It was like, if I want to maintain that sliver of connection to God and try and grow it, and not at any given second of my life jeopardize that connection, then I can't take alcohol. It just was incongruent. It didn't go.
Yeah, I had to kick it all out too.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't go with spiritual life.
In our language, there is a saying that "Ulli chesina melu talli cheyyadu." The thing is, what an onion can do for you, even a mother's love will not do it. That's just, saying that it's good for your health. Garlic is good for your health. I believe that for a little while. I would use garlic as a medicine, not as, trying to rationalize my choices. But again, I think that brings it back to that point that we have to understand that we are not this body. It's a simple sentence. It's just a few words, but it's so big, and that is at the basis. I remember once I heard Balabhadra Prabhu say, what is the most important lesson Bhagavad Gita teaches us? And I was like, do your duty and that usual stuff. No, it was, we are not this body. And that is the underlying basic foundation. And when you accept that, and accept that meaning actually understand it and understand what those words mean, not just saying it. Nobody ever says, I'm going to take all my wealth and go with, it'll all go with me when I leave this world. We all of us say we know it, but we don't actually understand what that means. We don't act, because if we understood what that means, we would not be pursuing all the things we are pursuing. We will not be taking care of our body so much. Again, we should take care of our body so that we can do our service, but then we, everything is focused around that we are this body. These relationships are what is real, and that's where all our choices, that's where everything that we are doing is coming from. And just because somebody says beer is good for you, wine's good for your heart, onion is better than a mother's love for you, it's just a rhyming sentence. And we've taken it as Vedic knowledge, because it just kept coming down, passing down generations. We think that is it. And so that's why we need to go back down to the foundation, to the basics. And then when we start building up from there, we understand why we need to do what we need to do. And like you said, we take the Guru's word. First of all, are we able to accept our Guru's instruction? He said, don't drink, and so we don't drink. And, you start with humility. You start with understanding that this is not the real world we are living in.
Thank you, Mother. It's just two very simple points. When you say you're not your body, that's great. Who are you? Who are you? Your spirit, soul. What does Lord Chaitanya say? Chevasrupahaya Krishnari Nichitas. Not just that your spirit, soul, you're not going to become one with Brahman, Krishna Nityadas. You're an eternal servant of Krishna. And that's all you can ever be, an eternal servant of Krishna. That's my identity tag. My Siddhadaya may not be shown to me yet, but one thing you know for certain, that you are Krishna's eternal servant. And so let's act in light and instead of in darkness. The light is who I am. I'm not my body. I'm not my mind. I'm not my senses. I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. And I can use all those things in the service of the Lord. Purify them. Let him purify them. And let me, again, become a good servant. So,
actually, also we have to know, if we want to progress in spiritual life, we have to give up staying in the mode of ignorance, because beer is considered a mode of ignorance, and is fermented, and it's stimulant. In order for us to rise in the mode of goodness, it's very important to give up all this low, the food in the mode of ignorance, and the beverage in the mode of ignorance, because you are what you eat, you are what you consume. So if you want to stay in the mode of ignorance, you can keep on taking a little bit beer or something. But if you want to make progress spiritual life, is very important to give up certain things.
yes, bodily conception life is also ignorance, Mother.
Yeah.
So we got to wake up. Lord Chaitanya, Chief Jago, come on, wake up to reality. Thank you, devotees. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Haryashra Prabhu.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Throne Prabhu. I was just going to eat my breakfast. Then you reminded me about Ekadashi. Thank you.
That's good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to everybody.
Have a wonderful day. See you back.